off, Panther Nation. We've done it. We've finally done it. I feel like it's been years since we addressed the defensive end position in any meaningful way. And after a flurry of stopgaps, old stalwarts, and boom or bust rookies, we finally spent some major draft capital on a premier defensive end. I know, it shocked me too. One who just so happened to be my biggest draft crush since one, Cameron Jarrell Newton.
Brian Burns.
Though DJ Moore was up there too. Is it just me, or is the draft so much better when your guy actually falls to your team and your team actually picks them? Sorry, Kelvin, nothing against you. It's really not your fault. Dave should have known better. He just got blinded by the mere thought of a hog molly and receiver form. But back to the matter at hand. Brian Burns is officially a Carolina Panther. The realist in me thought there was honestly very little chance he'd still be available at our pick, especially with Washington smack dead in front of us. Thanks for skipping out on Haskins, Dave. Gift that keeps on giving. I thought our best end available would have been Montez Sweat, a player I'm not particularly enamored with. I think he's more of an athlete than a football player, at least as of now. Go ahead, prove me wrong, Montez. Or otherwise, I thought we'd be forced to go with the best player available and get somebody like tackle Anthony Dillard. But luckily, there were just so many darn edge rushers in this draft that those war rooms shook like snow globes. I mean, honestly, who would have thought that Cleveland Farrell would be taken number 4 overall? And above Josh Allen for that matter. Typical Raiders. Draft is crazy business, not for the faint of heart. But amongst the chaos, I really think we may have found ourselves a star in the Walmart discount bin of all places. So, who is Brian Burns? What does he bring to the table? Is he the missing piece? You've got a lot of questions, don't you? Well, luckily for you, we've got answers. We're gonna break down everything you want to know about our new, fresh out the box edge rusher. Starting with his top 3 traits and why you should be excited about them. Be excited. Be very excited. But without further ado, trait number 3, Mr. Fantastic. This guy's got a bend. Seriously, if he weren't playing football, he'd be a limbo luau champion. And this can't be overstated. A lot of times when we look at defensive ends, we obsess over length, speed, power, which are all important things. But to really be productive in this league, you gotta get around the edge. You gotta have that silky fluidity with the center of gravity low enough to barely out-nibble these hulking offensive linemen. Deja vu? Feels like I've seen this movie before. But seriously, it is what makes Von Miller Von Miller. I mean, dog's got hips and balance. He gets so low to the ground, it's almost like he's hovering above it. Only to emerge on your quarterback like Jaws and force a fumble, and recover it in the end zone, and decimate the hopes and dreams of an entire city. Flexibility. It's important. But anyhow, moving on to trait number 2, bursting onto the scene. When you're talking about what makes a defensive end, you always hear about that first step. What it's really about is being able to attack the line offensively rather than reacting defensively. Yes, even if you're on defense. Stay with me here. The first player to make contact on the line dictates the terms of engagement. They set the stage and the tone. The other player has no choice but to react, i.e. act defensively. And in this way, Burns is insane at setting the terms. He is consistently behind the line of scrimmage before the O-lineman knew what hit him, let alone put hands on him. Burns' initial first step quickness is ridiculous, and the speed and depth he gains after pushing off is, well, it's kind of special. The guy is crazy fluid. He's slipping through the line like Osmosis Jones. And even before the draft, he was unanimously praised as the best get-off rusher in the class by the Mel Kipers of the world. Though Kiper, he has his moments. But what people don't understand about Burns is he's valuable in the run game too. No, he's not going to anchor the line or swallow Le'Veon Bell alive, but contain is the name of the game. Like I said, Burns' speed gives him the ability to run outside a 2-ton offensive lineman before they even have a chance to put his hands on him. Leverage, which ultimately forces a runner inside, right into the open mouth of a very, very hungry Dontari Poe. I mean, guy's gotta eat. Of course, that's if he's awake on that play. And even if he wasn't, I mean, that running back's facing a dilemma. Burns' unique traits make him so much more than face value. Excited yet? No? Well then, let's get to our final trait. Trait number 1, his size. Yes, his size, just not in the way you're thinking. It's indeed true that, well, burns a twig. He's Slender Man's athletic cousin, but that's the point. This twig of a D lineman was able to rack up double-digit sacks during his junior year at FSU. He's shown the ability to use the weight that he does have, playing with impressive functional strength. And I mean, just wait till he has more of it. And he will have more of it. He has all the ingredients to swell like SpongeBob with the suds. He has the work ethic, the diet, and the long, slender frame just waiting to be tapped into. I mean, wasn't it just a couple years ago that a complete but painfully undersized prospect fell into our laps in the first? And was not he too criminally undervalued despite having everything you need to play his position effectively? And look at him now. I mean, the guy looks like he just ate all of his haters. Though they are a good source of protein. No, really, keto diet. Don't knock it till you try it. My point is, I don't see his size as a bad thing. I see it as his potential. I see a vehicle that allowed a potential top 10 pick to fall right into our laps. Picture it like buying a bouncy house with all the bells and whistles, but getting it half price because it was deflated. I mean, we could pay full price for the same thing, or we could bring it home and have good old Joe Ken inflate it for us. Sounds good to me. Well, that is all we have for you today, Panther Nation. If you like our videos, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that comment button, and be sure to subscribe. And as always, be sure to answer that question of the day in the comment section. It's pick 16, and you're on the clock. Who would you have picked based off of who was available? Let us know, and we might, just might, give you a shout out on our next video. I will see your beautiful faces soon. Stay blue, my friends.
I'm a boss like Bowser. Did it for my bro like Alja. Did it in a row like Alja. That's nostalgia.